In my last two videos in this series, I talked about American LGBT homeless youth. I told you why homelessness among American LGBT youth is a problem and what causes it. In this video, I want to look at the solutions. How can we end homelessness among LGBT youth? I'll look at the solutions from two perspectives. I'll look at what organizations are doing right now to end homelessness among LGBT youth and what there's still left for them to do. Let's get to it. First of all, what are organizations doing right now to end homelessness among LGBT youth? Firstly, in America, there are less than a dozen nonprofit organizations who focus on providing LGBT homeless youth specialized services, and most of them are on the coasts. They work on acquiring funding to combat homelessness among LGBT youth. There are two prominent shelters specifically for LGBT homeless youth, and they are the Ali Forney Center, which was named after Ali Forney, who was an African-American transgender teenager who experienced homelessness and was murdered in 1997. And there's the Ruth Ellis Center. Secondly, many individuals and organizations, including the Center for American Progress and the National Gay and Lesbian Task Force, advocate for change to institutional policies regarding homelessness among LGBT youth in the United States. Here, I'm gonna give you 9 goals and visions these activists are working toward. 1. They want to create a federal Healthy Families program which provides counseling to families with LGBT children. 2. They work to eliminate bullying of LGBT students in schools. 3. They want to establish shelters and programs which specifically serve LGBT homeless youth. 4. They want shelters and programs for homeless youth to use intake forms which allow but don't require youths to identify their sexual orientation or gender identity. They also want to ensure that forms don't make assumptions about the youth's sexual orientation or gender identity. 5. They want to place occupancy caps on homeless shelters to reduce violence there. 6. They want to ensure that LGBT youth aren't placed with another youth who's overtly hostile or demeaning of LGBT individuals. 7. They work to establish private shower facilities in shelters. 8. They want homeless youth in shelters to be segregated by their self-identified gender rather than their genitalia. And finally, number 9, they want those shelters which require dress codes to make such codes gender neutral to stop discrimination and violence. And we're moving on to what more organizations need to do to end LGBT youth homelessness. Firstly, to end homelessness among LGBT youth who are homeless need access to safe, supportive housing. Street outreach, homeless shelters, transitional living programs, and other housing programs and services for youth should be free of racism, discrimination, and harassment, and provide access to culturally competent services which affirm their identity and welcomes them. How can they achieve that? Well, they must work out a strategy to improve the cultural competence of the staff who works in these programs and who provide these services. They also need to figure out how they should screen new staff before they're hired. Besides, they have to provide professional development of current staff and development of partnerships with the LGBT community to connect youth with adult LGBT role models. Secondly, runaway and homeless youth services should follow positive youth development and trauma-informed approaches in providing care and support. Such an approach requires that system and program policies, practices, structures, and values are grounded in knowledge and understanding of trauma, because care which isn't trauma-informed risks inadvertent re-traumatization of vulnerable youth. A trauma-informed approach focuses on physical, psychological, and emotional safety. Many youth who are homeless have experienced chaotic and violent environments. When they feel safe, it's easier for them to heal. Thirdly, it's important for runaway and homeless youth services to promote positive youth development and provide safe spaces for LGBT youth, and offer services and support to reconnect youth with their families when it's safe to do so. Homeless youth services must also connect youth to community resources and services which are affirming and safe for LGBT young people. And finally, and most important of all, they must expand public awareness of LGBT youth issues and decrease stigma associated with LGBT identity. There's nothing wrong with being LGBTQ. Ain't nothing wrong with that. The sooner everyone realizes that, the better. If every mom, dad, sister, and brother realized it's perfectly fine to have an LGBTQ family member, we wouldn't be having this conversation in the first place. This information came from these websites. You'll find these links below this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel and watch this series from the start. Next Friday, I'll be back with a new video in my series on cognitive abilities. Till then, I only want to say 3 things. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and bye for now.